From around the region or around the world, if it's sports, it must be Sports Channel.
The Sports Scribes picked them to finish in the second division of the Big Ten. But Penn State and Michigan State aren't living down to their preseason projections. The Nittany Lions and Spartans are making title chase headlines. 10 days ago, they met in East Lansing, and Michigan State hung the season's second loss on Penn State. But tonight, it's the rematch. The Spartans are in the Lions' den. Big Ten basketball is next. From the Bryce Jordan Center on the campus of Penn State University, it's Big Ten basketball. Michigan State against Penn State, and one look at the Big Ten standings will tell you why each of these games is critical. Michigan State and Penn State just a game apart in both, near the top of the conference. Hi, everybody. This is Bill Zipper, along with former Penn State coach Bruce Parkhill. Bruce, a week and a half ago, these two teams met. Penn State loses at Michigan State. A big reason for that, a strangulation defense by Michigan State.
Absolutely, Bill. Michigan State did a great job of pushing out their perimeter defense and taking away one of Penn State's strengths, which is a perimeter jump shot. If Penn State's going to have a chance to win tonight, they must solve that problem.
So how big a game do the Nittany Lions need for Matt Gaudio?
Well, Matt Gaudio has been the heart and soul of Penn State this year. And if Penn State is going to solve the perimeter defense problem with ball movement and patience, they're going to penetrate inside and look for Matt Gaudio to be a primary benefactor.
There you see his numbers, over 50% field goal percentage, over 80% from the foul line as well. Some of you along the line tonight will be hearing Tim Stout and Gary Ganakis along the Michigan State line for the view of the Spartans. Let's go to them. Gentlemen.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. Along with Gary Ganakis, I'm Tim Stout. Michigan State would like to be the first team to hand Penn State a home loss this season. The Lions have won all their home games. No other Big Ten team has done that. And Gary, we can show people graphically on defense. The Spartans are 1, Penn State is 2. It's going to be a defensive game.
Tim, exactly right. Michigan State has to defend the arc. They can't allow any open three-point looks all night.
Thomas Kelley is a big key. When he plays well, especially on the road, the Spartans tend to win. Can they get a big game out of him tonight?
Thomas Kelley is going to be a key. He's got to engineer this Michigan State offense. He's got to allow his teammates to get easy open baskets, either in transition or half court.
You can see he's been struggling with his shot a bit, but his assists have been good. They're expecting a big game out of him and the starters tonight. Ray Weathers is back from an injury. Jon Garavaglia back from suspension. Hey, guys, the Spartans are ready to go. They just hope they can steal one on the road tonight. Bill?
All right, thank you, guys. Michigan State can get closer to the top tonight. Penn State can get a leg up in the Big Ten. And, of course, the Nittany Lions looking to avenge that loss in East Lansing. We'll be back with the starting lineups after this. Tonight's Big Ten game is brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealers. By Harness Extra Herbicide, the herbicide that's as dependable as you are. And by CarQuest Auto Parts. For the CarQuest store nearest you, call 1-800-492-PARTS.
Weekends were made for sports, and New Sport, your source for sports news and information, covers all the weekend action with so many games. Who has the time to catch them all? Now you do with Scoreboard Central, your weekend spot on the dial for all the scores, highlights, and more. Scoreboard Central. No more waiting. Get what you want when you want it. Informative and timely. Scoreboard Central. Sports world is talking on New Sport Talk. Compelling, conversational, controversial.
I think a great issue that's going to be developed here is that this icon is facing a death penalty.
Discussing the latest and hottest topics in sports.
If you didn't enjoy those games, you're never going to enjoy soccer.
Well, they say tonight. Find out on New Sport Talk.
He was the league's top scorer. He was last year's Big East Player of the Year. And he's just getting started. Watch Kerry Kittles and the Villanova Wildcats battle the best in the NCAA on Sports Channel. With a balance of power and finesse, the Wildcats are ready to claw their way into any battle. It's great coverage of a local team with national ambitions. And it's only on Sports Channel, the home of Villanova basketball. From around or around the world, If it's sports, it must be Sports Channel.
The power of nature. It can turn your summer day into a nightmare of destruction when a deadly tornado strikes. Now, National Geographic Video takes you into the eye of the storm in Nature's Fury, an incredible 60-minute You Are There video that captures nature at its deadliest. Call this toll-free number now to order Nature's Fury for only $19.95. Order now, and you'll also receive the best of Cameramen Who Dare, absolutely free. This special television offer is not available in stores, and you have no risk, as your satisfaction is guaranteed for your money back. So call now to get Nature's Fury for only $19.95 and receive your bonus video free. Call now.
For rush delivery, get your credit card ready and call 1-800-529-2299. That's 1-800-529-2299. Or send your check or money order to the address on your screen. Call right now.
Is the center. Quinton Brooks and Antonio Smith will be the forwards. That's one of Michigan State's basic lineups. Dan Earl and Pete Lisicky are the guards for Penn State. Calvin Booth, a big tough guy in the middle, the freshman center. Glenn Sekunda and Matt Gaudio, the veteran seniors, they're the forwards. We'll be back with the opening tip-off of Michigan State and Penn State from the Bryce Jordan Center in just a moment after we pause for these messages.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul. And those three things are going to carry on forever.
To help keep Jimmy V's dream alive, please call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Men at Work. Men at Work right here at the 1996 Comcast U.S. Indoor. For 7 days, it's 32 of the ATP Tour's top men. The stakes are high, and the winner has to earn every penny. Tickets are on sale now. Call 1-800-995-BALL. Join us for another great return of the Comcast U.S. Indoor, February 26th through March 3rd at the Course Date Spectrum.
Tim Stout with Gary Ganakis back here at the Bryce Jordan Center, all set to go. Michigan State and Penn State. The Spartans say they want this one big time on the road tonight. Nice to have you with us wherever you are across the Midwest. Penn State takes the opening tip, and we're underway. And Gary, it'll be interesting to see now if Michigan State can get on that arc and stop them the way you think is necessary.
They're going to have to contest them, hotly contest them, not allow them any shots that have an open look at the basket, Tim.
Pete Lisicky is 32, Glenn Sekunda 33. This is the nation's best shooting three-point team statistically at 45% per game. So the beautiful Bryce Jordan Arena, $55 million. This is only the fifth game played here. Penn State has won all four. They began the season here with 10 games, one of the Big Ten 9 non-conference games. Gary, this is the only Big Ten team hadn't lost a home game.
Well, maybe we can set a record here, Tim. Be the first one ever. You're going to look for both teams to go inside early, I feel.
Michigan State now has Penn State down to 20 on the shot clock. Here's Matt Gaudio from outside, and he knocks it down, and Michigan State was worried about him at the start tonight.
Matt Gaudio is going to be a key. They've got to have constant pressure on Matt, force him outside a step or two outside of that 15-foot range.
Michigan State arrived here last night, worked out for about an hour and a half today, and has really hunkered down. As Tom Izzo said on the bus coming over to the arena tonight, is this a big game for us tonight or what? So they really want to get one. They were 8-1 in the series against Penn State, only with one loss. There's Thomas Kelley, only 39% shooting. He misses his first one, and the Lions go back the other way.
Kelley had to take that one on his own, as you see Gaudio score easy inside.
It's just exactly what Tom Izzo was worried about right there. They thought they would try to pound it inside to Matt Gaudio, who is their fifth-year senior, who's been so tough this season. Here's Jamie Feick, who had a good game in the first matchup in the Breslin Center. Michigan State is on the board.
Interesting point right there. Not afraid to take it to Booth inside, which they were a little bit in the first game.
You would figure this would be a defensive game. If from Michigan State's standpoint, the Spartans have given up an average of just 51 points in each of the last 3 games. Here's little Dan Earl, the point guard, who struggled against the Spartans shooting a couple of days ago. Quinton Brooks turns it over, and that's our first turnover of the game. Penn State would like to up-tempo this a bit at home. Here's Sekunda wide open from the arc.
Tim, there's one of what we talked about. He had an open look. These are two good shooters to allow them to have that kind of look at the basket. He measured it and fired it, and nothing they can do.
Tom Izzo said last night on the play, they can fly this thing home upside down if we can get out of there with a win tomorrow. Quinton Brooks for 2, and he knocks it down. Now, he struggled the last couple of games. Maybe that'll get him going right off the bat.
Michigan State was trying to get inside to Feick and to Brooks, and that's what Kelley's trying to do early on, and you'll see how long that they can attack that.
After tonight's game, each of these teams will have 3 home and 4 away in the Big Ten. Dan Earl now has missed twice, and Jamie Feick, the Big Ten's leading rebounder, misses to Sekunda, and then he's fouled and will go to the line. Antonio Smith got him. I think Tom Izzo's a little upset with Feick on that series.
Tim, this was Gaudio that just picked up a loose ball. He was there causing trouble, and all of a sudden Feick bailed out and couldn't get anybody to outlet the ball to. Gaudio was there at the right time. Smart play.
Okay, so that's our first foul of the game. Antonio Smith and Matt Gaudio will be on the line here for the Nittany Lions. He's quite a story for Penn State. Matt Gaudio, the 6'8" senior forward. He had arthroscopic surgery on his ankle back on December 4th. He had back surgery 2 years ago, but he's a pretty good athlete, and he's made big free throws in the last couple of games to win Penn State some games.
And Tim, he's a 5th-year senior. Not only was he an assistant coach last year, he knows the game, and he's helping these players perform much better. He's carrying them, actually, down the stretch.
Penn State with its biggest lead now at 8-4, 17 minutes remaining to be played here in the first half. They get Brooks wide open. Feick with a good assist. He's kind of like a point center out there when he dumps it down low.
Michigan State was working on this all week, a little high-low. They have got to get some easy baskets. Tim, it's going to be almost the first team to score 21 baskets in this contest may win.
And yet, on the other hand, the pace has been a little quicker than what we saw in East Lansing when the Spartans dominated play most of the way. Whistle, offensive foul, that won't count. Michigan State will get it back. Feick stood his ground that time, and he draws the foul from Jeremy Metzger into the game, who is a senior from Erie, Pennsylvania. So now each side with a foul. And Michigan State back with the ball with a chance to take a look at it again.
Feick stood his ground there nicely. Michigan State is not a team that's going to get off their feet taking shots out of the air. They're going to stay down.
Spartans trying to hold their composure in the early going. Now Jason Klein is on the floor for Michigan State here. He's been getting a lot of playing time in the last few games for Michigan State. He checks out, and Ray Weathers will check in.
Tough place to play for a freshman, and Jason Klein is really coming along nicely, but it's important to get the veteran Ray Weathers into the game.
So now Ray Weathers, they say he's okay, and they turn it over. Thomas Kelley stepped on the end line. Tom Izzo disputes the call as Jerry Dunn looks on. What a story this Jerry Dunn is, taking over for Bruce Parkhill in the off-season. He's been an assistant here at Penn State since 1980. Gets a new building, a veteran team, but they kind of snuck up on everybody, and as you can see, turnovers have been a problem for the Spartans here early on.
Jerry Dunn has a twin brother that's also in the coaching profession. That must be interesting over the kitchen table, I would think.
He's an assistant at Colorado State. Identical twins. They could switch up if they get a little tired of it. That's 2 turnovers on Penn State. Calvin Booth travels inside. Big 6'11" freshman. So we've had total of 5 turnovers in the early going. He just got his feet tangled here.
Booth reminds me a little bit of Kevin Willis when he first started out at Michigan State. He could run the floor, was a big talent, and Booth is some of that.
Feick looking inside, and that goes against Matt Gaudio. That play has been open here. And so the Spartans draw a foul. Timeout on the floor. Spartans down by 2. We'll be back with more Big Ten basketball in just a moment.
Weekends were made for sports. And New Sport, your source for sports news and information, covers all the weekend action with so many games. Who has the time to catch them all? Now you do with Scoreboard Central, your weekend spot on the dial for all the scores, highlights, and more. Scoreboard Central. No more waiting. Get what you want when you want it. Informative and timely. Scoreboard Central. Sports world is talking on New Sport Talk. Compelling, conversational, controversial.
I think the great issue that's going to be developed here is that this icon is facing a death penalty.
discussing the latest and hottest topics in sports.
If you didn't enjoy those games, you're never going to enjoy soccer.
What'll they say tonight? Find out on New Sport Talk.
He was the league's top scorer. He was last year's Big East Player of the Year. And he's just getting started. Watch Kerry Kittles and the Villanova Wildcats battle the best in the NCAA on Sports Channel. With a balance of power and finesse, the Wildcats are ready to claw their way into any battle. It's great coverage of a local team with national ambitions. And it's only on Sports Channel, the home of Villanova basketball.
Tim Stout with Gary Ganakis back here at the Bryce Jordan Center. The shooting has been excellent so far in this game. Each team is well over 50%, and Michigan State does not allow any teams to shoot 50%. Not many shots taken, Gary, but only 19 of the last 152 opponents have shot 50% or better against the Spartans.
Tim, it's so early in the game that it's a tough statistic right now. But Michigan State has got to check up on the arc, and they have allowed some open shots for Penn State so far.
Now Jon Garavaglia is in the game for the first time in a week. He was suspended for that elbow a week ago at Purdue. He's back tonight. Weather's shot is no good, but Garavaglia hustles for the rebound. Michigan State has already got close to the total of offensive rebounds that they had in the whole last game. Now they have 1. Last game they only had 4. That is going to be an important key. You can see Dan Earl working on Thomas Kelley, and then Weathers turns it over. He had it in his hands in a lane, but he couldn't hang on. So the Spartans are struggling with turnovers again tonight, and yet they're only 2 down here. 15-15 remaining to be played in the first half. Nice day today here in State College, Pennsylvania. A lot of that snow that's plagued this area has gone. It was 46 degrees and sunny today. It'll get colder tomorrow. But these two teams are hot so far, and Calvin Booth knocks it down. Another missed turnover, a miscue, allowed that basket. You don't want to let a guy like Booth get off early. It's important for him to look back in the game and have an 0 for 5 or a 1 for 6 performance. You don't want to have him get his confidence. Quinton Brooks had a good look that time. Garavaglia with an excellent rebound. And he knocks it down. Jon Garavaglia from Michigan State, and that cuts it to 2. Jon is due for a game. He just took that one on sheer hustle and took it out and put it back. Whose shot won't go. Tip up, no, and now it's pulled down by Quinton Brooks. Spartans have weathered an early storm. Weathers to Daimon Beathea coming off a career high. And Pete Lisicky with a rebound for the Nittany Lions. He's got Gaudio. They want to get him loose, and they got him again. Tom Izzo is really upset with that one because his team is quicker than Penn State, and you can't allow Penn State to beat back. They're going to run straight down the court with Gaudio and Booth, which would allow them easy baskets or would open up the outside shooting lanes for three-pointers. Matt Gaudio has 7 of Penn State's first 12 points. Garavaglia's shot is on the floor and out of bounds, and they're going to give it back to Penn State. Quinton Brooks isn't quite sure that's a good call, but the Nittany Lions will get it back. Jim, let's take a look at this fast break opportunity. Here's Gaudio coming straight down the court, and he is beating back the Spartan defenders. Weathers was there, but it also should have been Brooks back to check him. All right, we got lineup changes now. Big 45, Phil Williams is into the game. And as you can see, these two teams, which rank 1 and 2 in rebounding in the Big Ten, are even at 5 apiece here in the early going. Jamie Feick is back in for Michigan State. Brooks is getting a rest. Smith is out of there. Jason Klein is out. Tom Izzo loves to run 9 or 10 guys in and out through the course of a game. And the shot up again by Dan Earl, and he's 0 for 3. His shot has been off against Michigan State in these 2 games. Spartans have never led. They've never trailed, however, by more than 5. We're down at 7-2. They trail 12-8. Beathea coming off a career-high 14-point game, and he's played extremely well defensively. Now the shot clock's a factor, as you see. Weathers is going to have to go with it. And it's just off because it wasn't the shot they wanted. Good defense by Penn State. Inside, they got Williams. He beat Feick, and he lays it up and in. Phil Williams, his first 2, and that makes it 14-8, the biggest lead for Penn State tonight.
They call Williams the big house. He may not be a house, but he's certainly a small-sized condo, and he takes up a lot of room inside.
And whistle and a foul inside. That'll go against Penn State. You can look again here as this foul gets rung up. But Penn State, again, got the guy free. Nobody's there underneath.
Well, he set a monster screen, and then on the roll, he was there. And more importantly, Penn State recognized it, got him to the ball in the right spot.
Good look at Phil Williams. They call him the big. He's just big all the way around. The big house. He's only played organized basketball for 6 years, but he's come on rather quickly, wouldn't you say? Michigan State now offensively down 14-8 with the ball and 12:09 remaining to be played in the first half. On the baseline, Brooks in trouble. Nice athletic move, and Quinton Brooks has 6 points. 6 of Michigan State's 10. And that quiets the crowd.
Tim, Brooks has that nice, what I call a slither move. He jumps up, and he actually jumped out that way and laid it in some traffic. Nice move.
Now Sekunda drives in the middle and knocks it down. Glenn Sekunda. That's 5 for him, and Penn State back up by 6.
Sekunda just showed that same up and under move, got the defender up in the air a little bit, jumped in.
Penn State operates so high with this man-to-man. They don't get many guys loose underneath. There's Feick, but that one won't go. Williams in his face and Sekunda with a board. Penn State looking to take its biggest lead. Boy, I tell you, they got football players out there. Dan Metzger, here's another guy out there who's 250 pounds. You got Williams in there who's at 265. So that's 515 pounds from 2 guys in the front line. And there's a little touch for Jeremy Metzger. And that's Penn State's biggest lead at 18-10.
What Penn State is doing is they're trying to get it inside, as you can imagine. They know they're good from the arc, but they have got to get inside and establish that position, and they are pounding it inside almost on every possession.
Anthony Moll, number 10, is in the game now. Spartans were working on their half-court offense extensively today in practice. Here's Beathea off the glass. No, Feick can't get it. It's pulled down by Williams. Michigan State has struggled with the rebounds here tonight, and that's another factor in their 8-point deficit. Travel is called against Donovan Williams in the game. Timeout on the floor. Spartans are down by 8. We'll be back with more Big Ten basketball in just a moment.
Yeah, life's competitive, all right. Win or lose, doesn't matter. It's how you look at the finish line.
Get there first.
There's a lot of shoes on this wall. Better let me help you. After all, I'm always going to be waiting on you at the finish line.
Get there first.
1995 marks the 100th season of Big Ten Conference football action. Celebrate the centennial anniversary of the Big Ten by ordering this commemorative home video chronicling 100 years of football and men's basketball. For just $19.99, you can relive the rich tradition and proud legacy of gridiron legends from Grange to Griffin and basketball greats such as Lucas, Magic, and the Fab Five. To order, call 1-800-BIG-TEN-4 or send $19.99 plus $5 shipping and handling to the address shown.
Are you looking for a sports show that you can really get involved in? Well, we've got just the show for you. I'm Doug Gold, he's Greg Murphy, and we're the hosts of a brand new sports show called A Piece of the Game. We talk about your favorite players and your favorite teams, and the best part of it is you can get involved. You can pick up some of the great sports collectibles and trading cards right from your home. So come join us right here on Sports Channel and pick up a piece of the game.
Tip style with Gary Ganakis back here. All right, let's take a couple of these plays. Look at Quinton Brooks, Gary.
Well, Tim, this is the one play that Quinton just made a nice individual move. This is not off a possession. This is just individual movement. Sekunda doing the same thing. It wasn't off a set play in traffic and then just slithered into the basket and made a nice shot.
And, of course, he didn't get checked very well either. Nonetheless, that's the situation. Tom Izzo, 41 years old. His team now shooting is down to 36%. They've each had the same number of shots. And it would seem like Penn State has many more rebounds, but it's 8-7 in rebounding for Penn State here at the 10-11 mark of the first half. Inside, Garavaglia spinning. Nice dish off to Beathea, but it's blocked away well by Pete Lisicky, and the Spartans lost a good chance. Tom Izzo wants a foul. Phil Bova won't give it to him. Here's Lisicky for three. And that one will go back to Michigan State. Spartans had a shot here, but they just didn't get it down.
Nice interior passing from Garavaglia, but inside, Beathea just got a tip behind him. This is what we talked about earlier, too. Michigan State has to capitalize on those easy baskets because they have trouble in the half court creating their own offense.
Now Ray Weathers here on the point here. Michigan State with a double stack up top. Spartans struggling to score again, which has been a big bugaboo for them, as you know, for most of the season, especially on a road. Now the shot clock's a factor at 10, and they turn it over. The pass for Feick was just more. This Williams takes up so much space inside that it's hard to lob the ball over to it. Antonio Smith in, Daimon Beathea out.
Tim, sometimes when you try something so much and they're trying to pound it inside too, in this case Feick, it's difficult. I think we'll see that open up and we'll see some more better passing lanes for Michigan State. That one should have been in a bounce pass. In fact, you saw Beathea tap himself on the chest and say, "My fault. I'm sure I'll get that next time."
Now this building rocking and rolling. Michigan State with just one loss in the history of the series, but Penn State basketball is revitalized with this new arena. There are 900 seats that have not been installed yet. That'll go in next year, but it still seats 14,400, and they can make a lot of noise, as they do right there, hoping for a call and don't get it. 8:58 remaining to be played. Stay with us at halftime. We'll have all kinds of features and highlights and scores. Feick tapped inside, gets it to Brooks. Quinton Brooks is having a big game with 8 points.
Quinton Brooks is the man inside, and without Booth, who I call the toll booth, because you're going to have to pay the toll when you go inside, and is not in the game.
Okay, I hadn't thought of it that way. That works. 8:34 to play, 18-12. Michigan State will come home Wednesday night and play Minnesota. That game can be seen on many of these creative stations. And the ball is tipped up by Williams, and score for him, and it's back to an 8-point game at 20-12.
The big house is going to get some playing time if he keeps up like that. Booth may stay on the bench for a while.
Spartans hoping to get Ray Weathers more into this game offensively. Here's Feick off the side, 12-footer, Jamie Feick. And for him, his 4th point.
That's confidence from a senior where he goes outside, takes the big guy outside, shoots over him.
Okay, now you see Damien McKnight, number 14 in the game with the basketball. Pete Lisicky has it now, 32. Lisicky is the nation's number 2 3-point field goal shooter. And there he goes. He has his first one tonight, 3 points for Lisicky, and that's the biggest lead of the game at 23-14.
Tim, again, that was a look that was uncontested, or virtually uncontested. That brought Tom Izzo to his feet, shaking his head and screaming.
And a whistle and a foul, only the 5th foul of this game. That one goes against Penn State. Timeout on the floor. We'll be back with more first half action from Penn State in just a moment.
First day my new boss throws me the keys.
Get it fixed, kid.
So I took it to Charlie. Guy's a real pro.
Let's get the parts.
Charlie says to be the best, you gotta use the best. All CarQuest parts are guaranteed, and there are more than 3,000 CarQuest stores with every part you can think of.
Relax. It's done. Did you get the car fixed, kid?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you get the parts?
CarQuest?
Welcome to the pros, kid.
Weekends were made for sports, and New Sport, your source for sports news and information, covers all the weekend action with so many games. Who has the time to catch them all? Now you do with Scoreboard Central, your weekend spot on the dial for all the scores, highlights, and more. Scoreboard Central. No more waiting. Get what you want when you want it. Informative and timely. Scoreboard Central. Sports world is talking on New Sport Talk. Compelling, conversational, controversial.
I think the great issue that's going to be developed here is that this icon is facing a death penalty.
Discussing the latest and hottest topics in sports.
If you didn't enjoy those games, you're never going to enjoy soccer.
What'll they say tonight? Find out on New Sport Talk.
Well, we want to welcome you. We want to welcome all of those of you watching tonight's telecast on DirecTV, taking advantage of ESPN's full court package, DirecTV, and we hope you enjoy it tonight. Tom Izzo, as you can see, heatedly talking with Quinton Brooks here on that timeout. Tim Stout with Gary Ganakis back here, 7:26 to play first half. Gary?
Well, Quinton didn't leave the game because of offensive lack. He left the game because of that defensive lap and allowing too many open looks.
Michigan State here hoping to get a good look here, a good shot on this possession. 9 down now. Here's Beathea. He's going to get the look. Inside, nice dish to Jamie Feick, who knocks it down. Feick with 6 now, and credit Beathea with a good assist.
All baskets are important in this game, but Michigan State has got to get the easy ones. We keep saying now they've got to avoid those 9-0, 11-2 runs that Penn State is famous for.
Penn State coming in off a 3-point win over Illinois the other night. There's a turnover. Let's watch a Spartan speed now. Will Kelley go all the way? He does. Dishes it off. Beathea knocks it in. And there's the play that Gary mentioned at the top of the show that Kelley has to make.
Kelley made a very nice decision. He could have thrown the ball. He looked early, and he kept it and then dished it at the last possible minute. Very good decision by Kelley, who's coming on as a point guard.
Michigan State now cuts the lead to 5 at the 6:19 mark here in the first half. And Sekunda's pass stolen by Anthony Moe, but Lisicky is quick enough to get it back. Now, are they going to reset the clock? No, they will not. So the shot clock is at 7. Lisicky takes a look. And Gaudio gets a good look. And that's just a horrible defensive series by Michigan State.
Same thing, Tim. Sounds like a broken record. In that case, Lisicky did a nice athletic thing to free up people. 2 people were going over on Lisicky, and that freed up Gaudio.
Well, that's a tough break for Michigan State that made the first defensive play, couldn't finish it off. Feick is held. That'll go against Gaudio. And for Matt Gaudio, that's his 2nd personal foul. And that's a 15 foul.
His first. 5 for Penn State.
Take a look at that last sequence at Michigan State. There's no one there to check him. Antonio Smith was too slow getting over to help.
Defensive lapse by Antonio, who's now sitting out having a discussion with Tom.
Now Thomas Kelley looking for help from the Michigan State bench. Spartans again 8 down with 5:33 remaining to be played here. Garavaglia looking for help. Ball spots up for 3. That one is off, and it's pulled away by Calvin Booth. And then it's thrown away. Penn State wanting to break this and make the move that Jerry Dunn liked. He's up. Good look at Matt Gaudio, who's a fan favorite here, and Ray Weathers checks back into the Michigan State lineup. Weathers says yet to score for the Spartans in this game, but he's had that painful shoulder, although he looked pretty good warming up tonight.
You hate to think of a guy that has an injury like that, and even though in our everyday lives we have some little pulled muscles, here's a guy that's a world-class athlete trying to play with a shoulder separation. It really is an amazing feat.
Quinton Brooks back into the game for Michigan State. Obviously, they need his offense. And Feick is out of there now, so he gets a rest. But Weathers just getting banged by Lisicky inside. They're going to get a travel on it. He slipped. I don't think Ray likes the call, nor does the Michigan State bench. Michigan State and Penn State each with 6 turnovers so far in the game. And a very animated Tom Izzo has worked hard here, both with the officials and his players in the first half. Michigan State won here in the old Rec Hall last year by 15 points. But it's a much better Penn State team this time around. This is the first Penn State team in 42 years to be ranked in the top 10, and then the Spartans turn it over in the over and back. And once again, Tom Izzo can't believe the problems he's had, and Jerry Dunn doesn't like the play of his team.
Tim, let's take a look at this whole replay. Here's Jon Garavaglia going on the floor, really working hard, and he passes it on to Weathers, who kicks it back to Kelley. Just made a bad decision. He should have taken one more dribble and then kicked it out.
It's a close call either way, but it goes against the Spartans again, who are down 8 now. Calvin Booth will fire from long range, not his range either. And Jon Garavaglia on the board for Michigan State. Down to 4-10 as you see here in the first half. Here's Garavaglia spinning into the lane, and then that one is off and pulled down by Brooks. Michigan State looking to reset its offense here. This is an important possession. And Gary, when you don't score many points every possession.
So magnified, and Kelley's doing a nice job directing, getting people in the proper place to run a good set.
Weather struggling to hold on to the ball. There's a break for the Spartans. Garavaglia gets it inside, and now it is stolen away. They just struggle to get it into the low post. It's difficult for them to do it, and that's what they want to do. And Booth backs in and cuts a travel, and the Spartans will get it back. Timeout on the floor, 3:32. A perplexed Jerry Dunn and counterpart Tom Izzo. We'll come back with more first half action in just a moment.
History teaches primordial perspiration shouldn't mess with one's style. Consider this powerful discovery. Right Guard Pure Power Clear Gel. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff, protecting one powerfully. For when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right Guard Clear Gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Tim Stout with Gary Ganakis back here at the Bryce Jordan Center. Let's watch Penn State on defense here.
Tim, there's just a lot of big bodies inside, and what I think Penn State does do is they play well defensively, collectively. They have good team defense, and they are causing Michigan State a lot of problems. They're having difficulty interior passing. Michigan State, I think, is going to have to be a little bit more successful on inside out, trying to free up some of the perimeter people after going inside.
All right, so now Penn State looking to hunker down here once again defensively. Again, these are the two top defensive teams in the Big Ten statistically, and they're very close together, giving up 63 points a game. Illinois only got 20 here in the first half Wednesday night. Spartans are close at that. And Garavaglia's shot falls away. Michigan State shooting has cooled off considerably here in the latter going. There's the feed inside, and there's no travel, but it's, oh man, that one went Penn State's way out of bounds. You can see, boy, I tell you, Tom Izzo's run up and down the sideline more than some of the players have.
Tom has certainly had a workout, and that's one of the things that Tom can do better than Judd. He's a little bit quicker than Judd, got a little bit more endurance. Well, Tom really has done a nice job with this team this year. I think this is his 10th starting lineup. He's worked very hard to try and put the players in the best light to win a game. So he's played different tempos, and in fact now he's settled on this defensive tempo that he's got the kids playing very, very hard at.
There's the denied pass inside. It's on the floor and loose. And it's tipped up and in. Jarrett Stephens, whose brother, of course, was Dwayne Stephens, who played at Michigan State from Ferndale in the game now, has got some significant minutes, and he gets a couple of points here against Michigan State. So now Penn State with its biggest lead of the night at 28-18. That's Calvin Booth who picks up the foul. Take a look again at the cleanup at the other end here with the ball on the floor. Feick trying to avoid the foul.
Well, that's just the good head fake without traveling, and then got Feick a little bit in the air and took off. Here's Earl that just got a hand in the back and created the foul on that one. The official saw that.
Now back inside, ball stolen away, and Penn State gets it back. So the Lions get the ball back with that 10-point lead. Michigan State again struggling to get a good shot on that series. Lisicky's shot will bounce up high. Michigan State doesn't have good inside post position at all. The shot counts. And Glenn Sekunda will go to the line.
Tim, the road in the Big Ten makes you do funny things. Let's take a look at this replay here where you're going to see Sekunda muscle inside and then get Beathea off his feet. So he's working hard on the boards and then gets up and leans in, and Beathea got him on the arm. It's different on the road. It's one of those things you say, why can't people play the same? But it is hard. Michigan State is not showing the defensive fire that they showed in the first game and allowing Penn State to play much more of the game that they want to play. And I think Tom's going to have to take a timeout.
Well, Beathea only commits Michigan State's second team foul here, and yet it's now with a 20-second timeout, a 31-18 lead now, and Penn State has scored 6 in a row, and the Nittany Lions are on their way. It's amazing that Michigan State has only had the 2 fouls in the game, but underneath, it seems to me they have struggled tremendously on defense, but they've struggled underneath on offense as well.
You're right, Tim. A good point. Both ways. It's not one of those things that you could point at halftime and say if we shore this up. Right now, they have got to fix everything, and they've got to regroup, and they've got to regroup through their seniors, as an example, through Feick.
Tonight's Big Ten Conference basketball game is a copyrighted telecast of Creative Sports Incorporated. Any use, rebroadcast, or other transmission of any or all of this game without the express prior written consent of Creative Sports is prohibited. All right, the Spartans now in these final 2 minutes looking to get back in this. 13 down here. They have never led in this game. Penn State has just played so superbly on defense. And, of course, Michigan State shot better in the first meeting between the two, and they had a 12-point lead with 12 minutes to go in the second half. Jerry Dunn, what a story. And clearly a candidate not only for the Big Ten Coach of the Year, but National Coach of the Year as well.
Penn State came out of the timeout into a zone defense. I think he called that too. Weathers banked in, went for 3 points.
He was going to make sure that it wasn't short, and Weathers has his first points of the game, a 3-pointer, and that's Michigan State's first 3-pointer of the game, and it came at a good time for them because it cuts it to 10. That one slammed off the glass. I think it's still shaking down there, but hey, they'll take it any way they can. We didn't see as many of these players in the Penn State lineup in the first game. They didn't use Damien McKnight as much, and they certainly didn't use Jeremy Metzger as much. With the clock down, McKnight shot no, and Jamie Feick is there for the board. So Michigan State now looking to cut it to single digits here. Kelley gets the double team. Somebody's open. And Quinton Brooks has 10 points.
Brooks took it right over Booth, which is very, very unusual in this conference play.
Now the Spartans have 4 coaches up coaching here in front of their bench and 5 players on the floor. Penn State's going to hold it. Michigan State will get the ball back with a difference on the shot clock, as you can see, of about 4 seconds. Stay with us at halftime. We'll have features, scores, highlights, statistics, and some other surprises here from State College, Pennsylvania. That shot by Sekunda's off. Michigan State on the floor. Kelley has it. And Feick, not the best shot, not much he could do. We've come to halftime here at the Bryce Jordan Center in State College, Pennsylvania. Jerry Dunn and Tom Izzo take their teams off the floor. Penn State has led all the way. Spartans cut it to single digits. 31-23. We'll be back with halftime activity here in just a moment.
Weekends were made for sports, and New Sport, your source for sports news and information, covers all the weekend action with so many games. Who has the time to catch them all? Now you do with Scoreboard Central, your weekend spot on the dial for all the scores, highlights, and more. Scoreboard Central. No more waiting. Get what you want when you want it. Informative and timely. Scoreboard Central. Sports world is talking on New Sport Talk. Compelling, conversational, controversial.
I think the great issue that's going to be developed here is that this icon is facing a death penalty.
Discussing the latest and hottest topics in sports.
If you didn't enjoy those games, you're never going to enjoy soccer.
What'll they say tonight? Find out on New Sport Talk.
He was the league's top scorer. He was last year's Big East Player of the Year. And he's just getting started. Watch Kerry Kittles and the Villanova Wildcats battle the best in the NCAA on Sports Channel. With a balance of power and finesse, the Wildcats are ready to claw their way into any battle. It's great coverage of a local team with national ambitions. And it's only on Sports Channel, the home of Villanova basketball.
The power of nature. It can turn your summer day into a nightmare of destruction when a deadly tornado strikes. Now, National Geographic Video takes you into the eye of the storm in Nature's Fury, an incredible 60-minute You Are There video that captures nature at its deadliest. Call the toll-free number now to order Nature's Fury for only $19.95. Order now, and you'll also receive the best of Cameramen Who Dare, absolutely free. This special television offer is not available in stores, and you have no risk, as your satisfaction is guaranteed for your money back. So call now to get Nature's Fury for only $19.95 and receive your bonus video free. Call now.
For rush delivery, get your credit card ready and call 1-800-529-2299. That's 1-800-529-2299. Or send your check or money order to the address on your screen. Call right now.
Welcome back to the Bryce Jordan Center on the campus of Penn State University. I'm joined by Gary Ganakis. Michigan State struggled a little bit the first half. Gary, what are your thoughts?
Well, they did struggle. They struggled both offensively and defensively. And I know Tom's going to be talking more about the defensive end than offensively. They allowed far too many open looks. And in fact, Penn State really didn't shoot as well as what I thought they can and should do.
Yeah, I agree. I think Penn State countered their perimeter defense by doing things to get the ball in the paint in the first half. And it looked as though Michigan State was really out of sync at both ends of the floor. I was really surprised that they gave up transition baskets as easily as they did.
Right, and then at the end of the half, they got back into it with a little 5-point mini run, which is going to springboard them to the second half. But they allowed Penn State too much ability to operate inside, and that's going to be a telling time for this team.
Well, Michigan State, I think, has to convert on some of the makeable shots that they missed too if they're going to get back in the game. I do think that they have the capability of stopping Penn State defensively, but I think their offense has taken away a little bit of their confidence on the defensive end.
And with the lead, Penn State doesn't have to worry about trying to press Michigan State. I think it's a weakness for both teams to press. However, Michigan State has got to climb back in this game and force Penn State to do things that they're not capable of.
Right. Well, it's going to be a good second half if Michigan State can convert a little bit more and solidify their defense. We'll be right back.
Yeah, life's competitive, all right. Win or lose, doesn't matter. It's how you look at the finish line.
Get there first.
There's a lot of shoes in this wall. Better let me help you. After all, I'm always going to be waiting on you at the finish line.
Get there first.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school with Dynamic Practice Organization, a revolutionary new instructional videotape. Dynamic Practice Organization features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky with his famous building block approach to athletic training. This exciting instructional videotape features the same drills, techniques, and methods that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Dynamic Practice Organization makes any coach look like a genius and organizes offensive and defensive practices that players of all ages and ability levels can't wait to attend. And immensely improves team communication skills and even conditioning. This is the instructional video that's a winner. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-282-5020. The Dynamic Practice Organization teaching video makes a great gift, too. Call now, 1-800-282-5020.
I believe a little determination can go a long way. Somebody once said, if you lose sight of your goals, your obstacles will get in your way. And the way I see it, why let anything get in your way?
got me a bellyache. Elephant, my ring. Grandma's ring. We're never gonna find it.
We can find it. Is that it?
No, I've looked there.
You can look and look, but you never know where you're going to find a dream fulfilled.
Let's pretend we're playing hide and seek. Come on, it'll be fun.
Yet the universities of the Big Ten are celebrating 100 years of just that.
This is stupid. We're never gonna find it. Let's go.
When you support higher education, you'll help kids' dreams come alive for the next 100 years.
Hey, leaving with that fish?
No way, you found it.
You can find anything if you look hard enough.
This message furnished by the universities of the Big Ten.
With all the expenses a family has, adding college education can be a financial juggling act. There's one university changing things.
At Michigan State, we have a tuition guarantee. Tuition does not rise faster than the rate of inflation.
A standard I wish other universities all across America would follow.
We're leaders in quality and affordability.
Bryce Jordan Center, a capacity crowd watching the Nittany Lions build up an 8-point lead over the Michigan State Spartans in the first half of this game. Bill Zimfer here at halftime, and we are joined now by Dr. Mac Everts, the Dean of the College of Medicine at Penn State. And Dr. Everts, the reason we have you here at halftime is Penn State's Hershey Medical Center was recently awarded funding by the National Institutes of Health to create a general clinic research center. And you can tell us what kind of impact this is going to have on Hershey's commitment to research.
Well, the primary mission of a medical center is research, along with some other things. And in this center, we're going to be able to do much collaborative research, working between State College and Penn State at Hershey. We're going to do things like look at Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, Parkinson's disease, cancer, heart disease, and many other things. The impact will be profound because it will help us really move forward in our research efforts.
How will this relate to the treatment and prevention of disease? We hear a lot about medical research, but do you see direct results on the end of the average person?
Well, actually, we call this from bench to bedside. And let me give you a couple of examples. There's one of our researchers that's doing work on kidney disease. And by doing that work, we may be able to prevent some kidney disease in people who have diabetes. So that's a very important find. Another thing is that we are doing some genetic testing with molecules that are associated with hemochromatosis. If we can prevent that disease, that'll also help prevent the accumulation of iron in about 1 out of 250 people in the United States. So,
one thing you hear a lot about, and of course, here at Penn State and tonight at this arena, you might talk about sports medicine a little bit. What's the role of sports medicine at Penn State like?
Well, you're asking the right person in the sense I think it's plays a critical role. We think that part of the success of the athletic programs are due to athletic medicine. It's involved with prevention, with treatment, it's involved with research, and then rehabilitation. And I think the reason Penn State has such great programs is because of the athletic medicine program. Now, Joe might not agree with me, but I think that basically it's very important to have that.
All right. Well, Dr. Everts, thank you very much for joining us here at halftime. Some information about the Hershey Medical Center and continued success. And I hope the research continues to go well there. I'm sure it will.
I think it will. Thank you very much.
Dr. Mac Everts, Dean of the College of Medicine here at Penn State. We're at halftime of the Bryce Jordan Center. And the Nittany Lions taking a lead into the second half over Michigan State. We'll be back with more right after this.
First day, my new boss throws me the keys.
Get it fixed, kid.
So I took it to Charlie. Guy's a real pro.
Let's get the parts.
Charlie says to be the best, you gotta use the best. All CarQuest parts are guaranteed, and there are more than 3,000 CarQuest stores with every part you can think of.
Relax. It's done.
Did you get the car fixed, kid?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you get the parts?
CarQuest?
Welcome to the pros, kid.
We weekends were made for sports. And New Sport, your source for sports news and information, covers all the weekend action with so many games. Who has the time to catch them all? Now you do with Scoreboard Central, your weekend spot on the dial for all the scores, highlights, and more. Scoreboard Central. No more waiting. Get what you want when you want it. Informative and timely. Scoreboard Central. The sports world is talking on New Sport Talk. Compelling, conversational, controversial.
I think the great issue that's going to be developed here is that this icon is facing a death penalty.
Discussing the latest and hottest topics in sports.
If you didn't enjoy those games, you're never going to enjoy soccer.
What'll they say tonight? Find out on New Sport Talk.
He was the league's top scorer. He was last year's Big East Player of the Year. And he's just getting started. Watch Kerry Kittles and the Villanova Wildcats battle the best in the NCAA on Sports Channel. With a balance of power and finesse, the Wildcats are ready to claw their way into any battle. It's great coverage of a local team with national ambitions. And it's only on Sports Channel, the home of Villanova basketball.
His offensive prowess. He is one of the only Spartans that really is capable of getting his own shot in inside and outside.
Glenn Sekunda has 8 for Penn State, and he's been tough so far.
Here's just individual effort. We talked about this earlier. Sekunda is able to get his own shot off in traffic, as evidenced by this play.
And Matt Gaudio has 10, and the Spartans feared him tonight, and he's had a very, very good first half.
This is the one that showed a lot of things because it hurt Michigan State from the three-point line, but it showed their deficiencies defensively in tonight's game.
All right, so it's 31-23. Michigan State has never led in this game. A good look at the Bryce Jordan Center. Let's take a look at some halftime statistics now. And as you can see, Penn State is shooting 50%. Michigan State's gone 18 straight games with an opponent shooting less than 50%. And look at the free throws. They haven't been a factor because the fouls haven't been a factor.
Well, I think that's an important thing to point to right now is Michigan State not driving to the basket. Penn State, by and large, was playing man-to-man for most of the half, only had short stretches of zone. Michigan State is going to have to do a little bit more on the ball screening and then take Weathers and or Kelley to go to the basket and create moves for themselves.
We'll be back with the second half of tonight's Big Ten basketball game in just a moment. Stay with us. We're in State College.
We are starting the Jimmy V Foundation for Cancer Research. We need your help. It may not save my life. It may save my children's lives. It may save someone you love. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
To help keep Jimmy V's dream alive, please call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V.
Carbon monoxide isn't the only thing to worry about coming from your tailpipe, because with every stroke of your engine, motor oil is being vaporized into exhaust, leaving less and less protection. That's why there's Castrol GTX 10W30. Of every leading 10W30, Castrol provides the most protection against volatility burn-off. So use Castrol, or watch more of your protection go up in smoke. Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown.
The Flyers are back, and Sports Channel's got them. Great hockey action you won't see anywhere else. Check out Lindros, LeClaire, Renberg, Hextall, and the rest of the orange and black as the Flyers begin their quest for the Stanley Cup. It's all Flyers, and it's only on Sports Channel. The Flyers battle the Florida Panthers Wednesday night at 7:30, exclusively on Sports Channel.
Tip style with Gary Ganakis back here at the Bryce Jordan Center at Penn State University. Quinton Brooks with his 10 points. Tom Izzo giving him a pep talk, and you can see when you only get 23, there are not too many scores to list, Gary. But at any rate, those are the Michigan State guys. Now let's take a look at Penn State. As you take a look at Matt Gaudio, who's been so tough. 10 points, Sekunda, Williams for it. You know, Gary, how many times have we here today, Michigan State said, we think they're going to pound it to Gaudio inside. That's what they have done, and they've done it pretty well.
Well, that's where it's a coach's nightmare. When you know the other team so well, they played just 10 days ago, know what they're going to do, and then can't stop it. It's interesting. Penn State, when you watch them, they're not a great talented team, but they're a bunch of role players that come together. Talent doesn't do it alone. Talent plus chemistry wins game, and Penn State has chemistry. However, don't count Michigan State out right now. Michigan State has got some real deep intensity, and it's interesting. They believe they can win this game, and sometimes when you go on the road in the Big Ten, you have doubts, but Michigan State does believe they can win.
You know, with the few possessions that there are in this game because of the low scoring, with Michigan State getting the ball to start the second half, it's almost to me like receiving the second half kickoff. Right. You get to go on offense to start. There just aren't many offensive possessions. Spartans 8 down. As Gary said, they believe they can win it. Now we'll see what kind of an opportunity they create for themselves here. They'll be in front of their own bench. Jason Klein's going to fire right out of the chute. Tipped up, and it's away, and Penn State pulls it down. Sekunda looking for Booth, who was no factor in the first half. And look at Gaudio hustle for the rebound, but he was out of bounds. I mean, here's Calvin Booth that blocked 6 shots in East Lansing. He hasn't blocked any, he hasn't scored any. They've neutralized him, but of course they still have struggled. I think turnovers and transition plays hurt them greatly.
Absolutely. Here's an interesting point. The referees made a mistake and then corrected it. Jason Klein looked and he almost wanted to argue with the officials because he knew it wasn't right, but the officials got together and made a nice call.
Still 31-23, 19-23 remaining to be played here now in the second half. Antonio Smith with the ball did not score in the first half, nor did Klein. Brooks driving in. They may get either a walk or a foul, and they're going to get a foul. Only 8 fouls in the first half of this game, 6 by Penn State, 2 by Michigan State. Lisicky gets a foul. That is his first team foul. Common foul, or is that a shooting? No, they're going to put Brooks on the line. Michigan State's first free throw attempts of the night.
Brooks really did a nice job. He recognized that he has the toll Booth out on him. He thought he had enough quickness to get by him with a 1 dribble, and he got up in the air, and Booth checked him all the way. He got a little bit bailed out, and now he's going to go to the line and make 2 shots. Jerry
Dunn does not agree that Brooks was shooting at the time, but nonetheless, that's the call. And now the Spartans with a chance to cut this to 6 points. 12 points for Quinton Brooks, first 2 in the second half, and so Michigan State, as Gary said, they've cut a 13-point deficit to 6.
Well, that's big, as you see Earl bringing the ball up. Earl's been quiet. I think he's 0 for 3 for the game, and he's going to have to be a factor for Penn State to win this game.
You can see Brooks out on Sekunda. Klein's going to chase Lisicky, and there's the 3 that goes up and down by Glenn Sekunda. That's his second 3 of the game. 11 points for Sekunda, and it's back to a 9-point margin. That's the 4th three-pointer in the game for Penn State, the nation's leading 3-point field goal shooting team in terms of percentage at 45%. By the way, Gary, I saw in Sports Illustrated this week, the NCAA statistics show this is the worst year in shooting in college basketball since 1968. And that's, of course, one reason perhaps for the low scores that we have, and these turnovers don't help either.
You wonder why that is, too, Tim. Is it because of the three-point line and young people today are trying to practice shooting from the three-point line? It's interesting when you go into a gym across the country, you see young kids heaving it up from that, and they're not practicing that 15-foot jumper like they used to.
34-25, 18-18 to play here in the second half. Sekunda had 19 points in the first game against Michigan State. He's having a big night again tonight with 11. Now Calvin Booth, he's off balance there. Brooks pulls down a rebound. Jerry Dunn wanted a foul call, doesn't get it, and so Michigan State back with the ball. Feick out high, looking inside. There's Quinton Brooks, and it's 14 points, and Michigan State again to within 7. Quinton has been struggling dramatically the last 3 games. He's been in single figures, but he's having a much bigger night tonight. He did have 19 the last time these two played, and he's on his way to a performance like that. Booth again, another miss. Booth has struggled all night long. He is now 1 for 6 in this game. Michigan State with a chance to cut into the 7-point deficit. Weathers dumps it off inside, and Feick is fouled going in. Now, do they call goaltending or what? They'll put him on the line, and that one goes against Glenn Sekunda, Gary, who showed an awful lot of strength just to prevent Feick from dunking the ball.
Did a nice job inside as we see Booth going out of the game. Here we see Weathers getting in the lane, and nice pass inside to Feick. Sekunda came in and caused the foul.
You know, I'm not sure, did he grab the rim at all there? If he grabbed the rim, it should be a technical foul, which, you know, the rim shook, it appeared, and keep the ball out. There's Jamie Feick. Michigan State from the line now 3 for 3.
I find an interesting thing in college basketball. What you really have is you have young people that are prone to mistakes. Even though they're in adult bodies, they can make mistakes.
Big rebound here by Antonio Smith, and then he just tosses it away. He made the initial play, couldn't complete it. Spartans 6 down. Penn State has been very tough in the close games this season, winning all but 2. But for 4 points in total losses to Michigan and Michigan State, they'd be in here tonight 19-0. As I said earlier, this is the first time this team's been ranked in the top 10 in 42 years, and Dan Earl finally gets one to fall. And that's his first 3 points of the game. And quickly with that 3-point gun, you can go from a short lead to a much bigger one with a 3-pointer.
Can never let up around Penn State, because not only do they have 2 good 3-pointers, they probably have 4 people capable of shooting a 3. Earl's certainly one of them.
That's an offensive foul on Quinton Brooks. That'll be his first. Only the 3rd team foul of the game for Michigan State. Smith will go out of the game, and Tom Izzo has some heated words for Antonio Smith here on the sidelines as he sits down. Now Michigan State again 9 down. Metzger banging into Feick and gets it to go. Jeremy Metzger with 4 points goes over Jamie Feick, and it's back up to an 11-point game.
Booth went out because of lack of good play, and Metzger's come in and done a nice job. But Booth got a little hurt on that time he fell to the floor, and here the guy comes in and is really playing well for him.
Weathers trying to decide whether or not he wants to fire from out there. Shot clock is at 11. And you can see the great double team inside on Brooks. Shot clock is at 6. Klein for 3. And Garavaglia pulls it down for Michigan State. Weathers gets a good look for 3, and Ray Weathers buries it. And that's second 3 for Ray Weathers in the game.
The crowd is really alive here at this arena. A lot of energy, and the people right behind us have picked Ray Weathers as the target to stay on all day, and he silenced them with that one.
Inside on the baseline, a whistle and a foul is called, and that'll go against Ray Weathers, who has a broken nose, and he hit it again, and it hurts. And Weathers is down for the moment anyway. That's his first foul. They're going to get Ray Weathers out of the game and bring Thomas Kelley in. Well, I'll tell you, Gary, he has been banged up more times this winter, this season. You can see Jason Klein checks out. Anthony Mullis back in. So Dan Earl will be on the line for the Nittany Lions. Very fine junior point guard. He's the Big Ten assist leader at 6 per game, has had a sore lower back this entire season and has played over it. Earl now with 4 all in the second half, but again it's a 9-point game. You can see his season average. So Michigan State's done a great job in him offensively these 2 games. Timeout on the floor. Pads 8 with a 10-point lead. We're coming back, 15:09 to go. Stay with us from State College.
1995 marks the 100th season of Big Ten Conference football action.
Celebrate the centennial anniversary of the Big Ten by ordering this commemorative home video chronicling 100 years of football and men's basketball. For just $19.99, you can relive the rich tradition and proud legacy of gridiron legends from Grange to Griffin and basketball greats such as Lucas, Magic, and the Fab Five. To order, call 1-800-BIG-TEN-4 or send $19.99 plus $5 shipping and handling to the address shown.
Men at Work. Men at Work right here at the 1996 Comcast U.S. Indoor. For 7 days, it's 32 of the ATP Tour's top men. The stakes are high, and the winner has to earn every penny. Tickets are on sale now. Call 1-800-995-BALL. Join us for another great return of the Comcast U.S. Indoor, February 26th through March 3rd at the Course Date Spectrum.
The Flyers are back, and Sports Channel's got them. Great hockey action you won't see anywhere else. Check out Lindros, LeClaire, Renberg, Hextall, and the rest of the orange and black as the Flyers begin their quest for the Stanley Cup. It's all Flyers, and it's only on Sports Channel. The Flyers battle the Florida Panthers Wednesday night at 7:30, exclusively on Sports Channel.
Discover. 10 points is the lead for Penn State over Michigan State now, with just over 15 minutes to go in the game. Creative Sports sends more Big Ten hoops your way. Next Saturday, doubleheader action starts when Illinois says hello to Columbus and the Buckeyes. In Game 2, it's the border battle Wisconsin traveling to Minnesota. Join Mike Gleason from the studio for all the action of Big Ten basketball here on Creative. A few words from Tom Izzo to his freshman forward Antonio Smith.
He's saying, please, somebody hit a jump shot.
Yeah. Anthony Mull is into the game at one guard now. And Thomas Kelley running the offense, gets it to Garavaglia. Quinton Brooks back to Garavaglia as they work it around.
Penn State's in a matchup zone.
Garavaglia will take the jumper. Way long in the rebound by Gaudio.
Michigan State did not do anything to break down the zone that time, Bill, and as a result, they had a tough shot. It was a tough opportunity to try to score.
Earl just knocked off the ball as he tried to drive through. No call, and it goes back the other way. Michigan State very deliberate with the offense now.
That's what they have to do.
Yep.
They've got to be more aggressive to penetrate the defense. That was a great move.
Pretty move by Quinton Brooks. He now has 16 points in the game. Just about at his season average. He's averaging 17 per game for the Spartans, their leading scorer.
Looking to go to Pete Lisicky. Well defended off the staggered screen.
Anthony Mull is on Lisicky, down to 10 on the shot clock. Earl going down the paint, and he is fouled. He'll go to the line for 2 here. They're going to give him a two-shot foul.
That was a good possession. Penn State didn't get what they wanted originally. They kept the ball moving. They were patient. Danny made a good curl cut. He got fouled in the paint. Michigan State's help defense has not been very good. That time, Feick had position, but he reached in instead of just stepping in and taking a charge. And he had an opportunity earlier this half to step in and take a charge when Danny Earl drove.
Jamie Feick heading over to the sideline, and Antonio Smith, who we saw being counseled by Tom Izzo on the sideline, back into the game. Danny Earl to the line. 2 out of 2 from the free throw line tonight. Now with 6 points. He was scoreless at the end of the first half, so all 6 of those coming here in the second half. And he has a chance to put the lead back at 10. Earl, of course, as you see there, the Big Ten assist leader. Hits both. 10-point lead again.
Penn State dropped back into the matchup zone. They had difficulty matching up, but Michigan State didn't take the jump shot. They really don't have much confidence now from the perimeter.
Kelley will go into the paint. High archer there, and it's tipped in underneath by Antonio Smith.
Nice penetration by Kelley that time.
First points of the game for Smith. Lisicky with a spin move on Mull. Out to Danny Earl. Going to get Thomas Kelley with a foul. Let's go back to that penetration by Kelley in the last offensive possession.
Well, if you're not going to beat the zone by the jump shot, here's a real good way to beat it, penetrate the gap, and then you're vulnerable to offensive rebounds from a defensive perspective when you play zone and you let the other team penetrate, and that's what happened that time.
Yeah, you saw 4 white jerseys, Penn State players around the bucket, and Antonio Smith still got in there for the tip-in.
Michigan State's going to look at their matchup zone.
Phil Williams and Calvin Booth back into the game for Penn State now. And they are stationed down low. Calvin Booth with the ball now. Back to Earl.
Pete Lisicky's going to get a screen for Phil Williams. Michigan State defended it well. Look for Penn State to try to get a baseline jumper or a pass into the dotted line area, the foul line area. Look for Pete Lisicky to get a screen from Calvin here. There's good penetration by Dan Earl.
Pass off to Phil Williams, but he had a shot blocked underneath, and it'll come back the other way. Michigan State with a chance to cut it to 6. Here's Beathea.
So he's hitting that shot up in East Lansing.
Yes, sir. Long pass to Calvin Booth.
I'll tell you, this is a different Michigan State team, Phil. They're lethargic. They're not alert. And it's really costing them. And they still have a chance to get in this game. But they're just not playing with the spark that they played with at home.
Almost 15,000 people here tonight at the Bryce Jordan Center. Sell out for this game, Penn State and Michigan State. Kelley. Bad miss, but gets his own rebound and misses again. Phil Williams yanked it down and holds on to the ball.
Kelley should have used the backboard that time.
Pete Lisicky into the lane. Oh, Antonio Smith got a piece of the arm and the ball, and Lisicky will go to the line.
Penn State has a chance to break this game open, Bill.
Team fifth, Donovan Williams enters the game for Penn State, replacing Dan Earl. For Earl, Matt Gaudio in the game for Penn State.
Well, you go back to the other end, and that rebound by Phil Williams. There was a lot. There were bodies flying all over the place under the bucket there, and Phil held on to the ball and swung it out of there.
And the ball's like a grapefruit in Phil's hands.
All right, the officials have called a timeout here to talk about things. 10-point lead. Penn State is up.
26. And a final. Stanford has beaten number 17 UCLA. 60.
Weekends were made for sports. And New Sport, your source for sports news and information, covers all the weekend action with so many games. Who has the time to catch them all? Now you do with Scoreboard Central, your weekend spot on the dial for all the scores, highlights, and more. Scoreboard Central. No more waiting. Get what you want when you want it. Informative and timely. Scoreboard Central. Sports world is talking on New Sport Talk. Compelling, conversational, controversial.
I think a great issue that's going to be developed here is that this icon is facing a death penalty.
Discussing the latest and hottest topics in sports.
If you didn't enjoy those games, you're never going to enjoy soccer.
What'll they say tonight? Find out on New Sport Talk.
He was the league's top scorer. He was last year's Big East Player of the Year. And he's just getting started. Watch Kerry Kittles and the Villanova Wildcats battle the best in the NCAA on Sports Channel. With a balance of power and finesse, the Wildcats are ready to claw their way into any battle. It's great coverage of a local team with national ambitions. And it's only on Sports Channel, the home of Villanova basketball.
Well, 10 points for Penn State is the lead, and Pete Lisicky ventured into no man's land here, Bruce.
Well, I think this is a good move. I think Penn State has a chance right now to break the game open if they're aggressive like that. And they need to take control right now. If they don't break it open in the next couple of minutes, I'd be concerned if I was Jerry Dunn, because they've let Michigan State hang around too long.
Lisicky taking a rest now, and Donovan Williams into the game at his guard position. Lisicky with just one three-point shot on the night. Earl wide open, couldn't get it to go. And it's taken right off the arm of Calvin Booth by Thomas Kelley. matched up on Ray Weathers.
Boy, they were just so out of sync offensively right now. Spacing, they're tentative.
9 seconds on the shot clock now. Here's Beathea way outside. Earl is on him. Beathea's going to take him in, and it's stripped away. Penn State with a 4-on-3. Calvin Booth saved it, but nobody was there, and it goes out of bounds. Jerry Dunn says, what happened there?
Yeah, that's one of those plays, you know, I could sit here and say, that was a good effort by Penn State to try to run it out and then break away. But when I was coaching, I was pulling out my hair when that happened.
Well, Ray Weathers has all of the backcourt scoring for Michigan State now. Only 6 points have come from the backcourt of the Spartans. Those 2 3-point shots by Weathers. There's one in the paint again. Antonio Smith blocked.
No, at least they were aggressive and tried to do something. They've been so tentative offensively. That was a good look.
Donovan Williams will take it from downtown. Jamie Feick tracks down the rebound, and Michigan State right back. Weathers caught up in the air. Got it today.
Beathea has his man on the block open every time he gets the ball, and then he turns to throw it outside instead of looking to be aggressive and attacking the defense by a pass into the post. Boy, he's open again on the block. Didn't get it to him.
Ray Weathers decides to work on Earl. That ball was deflected. It'll be goaltending goal on Calvin Booth. So the bucket counts. Jerry Dunn says, oh, the sky is falling. Pete Lisicky will come back into the game. Here it is.
Well, here they finally get aggressive and penetrate. I don't know. That looked like a pretty good one. Michigan State has got to be aggressive offensively. They're way too tentative.
8 points for Ray Weathers now after that 3 2-pointer on the goaltending. 8-point lead. That's where it's been. Penn State has not been able to break it open. Michigan State has not gone away. Booth with a spin turnaround.
Well, they isolated Calvin inside, and that time he got it to go down, but he still shot a turnaround fadeaway.
Feick inside. Quinton Brooks. Whoa! Wow.
That's what they need to do. They need to get it down and get it into the paint. Make something happen. Try to go to the foul line or convert.
Hey, Quinton Brooks ought to go in that NBA slam dunk contest this weekend. Got a call away from the ball.
Illegal back screen that time.
Tom Izzo shouting out the defensive instructions now. Jerry Dunn says, hey, come on, settle down a little bit. Brooks will operate again. Wow.
Well, you know, it's just impressive that Michigan State is still in this game because they can't buy a jump shot, and they're not even looking for jump shots now, and they're still in the ball game.
20 points for Quinton Brooks. He is 9 of 11. Field goal shooting in this game.
This is a big possession for the Nittany Lions here. They need to convert.
They go to Gaudio inside. They doubled down on Gaudio, and he had it stripped away. Brooks again in the paint.
That was a great job to catch the ball and stop without fouling.
Weathers threw it up and hits the floor hard, and it's an offensive foul. So to go the other way, and Penn State leads by 6. 7:48 left. We'll be back.
The sports world is talking on New Sport Talk. Compelling, conversational, controversial.
I think the great issue that's going to be developed here is that this icon is facing a death penalty.
Discussing the latest and hottest topics in sports.
If you didn't enjoy those games, you're never going to enjoy soccer.
What'll they say tonight? Find out on New Sport Talk.
He was the league's top scorer. He was last year's Big East Player of the Year. And he's just getting started. Watch Kerry Kittles and the Villanova Wildcats battle the best in the NCAA on Sports Channel. With a balance of power and finesse, the Wildcats are ready to claw their way into any battle. It's great coverage of a local team with national ambitions. And it's only on Sports Channel, the home of Villanova basketball. From around the region or around the world, if it's sports, it must be Sports Channel.
State up by 6, and here's a fantastic talent for Quinton Brooks.
Well, he shows his athleticism in that situation off the high-low pass.
Here's another one.
And here's an example of Quinton going to the basket off the dribble.'s really a terrific player. He's certainly an all-Big Ten candidate.
Both teams shooting the ball. There's Quinton Brooks with the 20 points and the 4 rebounds in the game, and he has had some spectacular buckets in this one. 49% for Penn State field goal shooting in this game. 44% from the floor for Michigan State. So both teams shooting okay. That's Michigan State, about their team average on the season.
Yeah. This is the kind of game that Michigan State has thrived upon, where they just hang in there, play off their defense and rebounding, and then get a shot to win it down the stretch.
That's a 2 for Lisicky. Foot was on the 3-point line. No hesitation there. That's 5 for Lisicky in the game.
Big shot for Penn State.
Donovan Williams nearly took it away, but Garavaglia maintains possession. Ray Weathers pulls up after the fake, and we've got a foul. Lisicky will be called with a foul.
Boy, you do not want to foul the jump shooter in any situation, especially when Michigan State shooting jump shots. That's a cardinal sin.
Glenn Sekunda back into the game.
And if you're Michigan State, you got to find a way to get the ball in Brooks' hands.
Yep. Ray Weathers goes to the line now. 75% from the line, just about at a season average for scoring, and adds another one there. So 9 on the night for Ray Weathers. 6 minutes, 55 seconds left in the game. Penn State up by 7, 49-42. There's Dan Earl going over to the sideline. So Damien McKnight and Pete Lisicky are the guards now. Phil Williams, Matt Gaudio, and Glenn Sekunda in the line on the front line.
See if they get it in Brooks' hands this possession, Bill.
Thomas Kelley goes right to the rack and gets it to go.
That was a nice play off the screen on the ball. Kelley turned the corner and used his athleticism to finish all the way to the hoop.
It's 5 points now. 49-44. Penn State lead. McKnight feeds inside. Gaudio found himself with some room, but Brooks got a piece of the ball on the block.
Great defensive play.
Kelley doesn't get it to go, and Gaudio with a rebound. Brooks is going to be called with a foul.
Boy, if you're Michigan State, that's a real tough basket to miss. Boy, he had a layup and didn't convert it, and then they have a foul on their best player. There's a great defensive play by Brooks. He kicks it out. They get a run out, and Kelley just can't finish. And Brooks is hustling to try to finish it. It goes over the back. Good job by Matt Gaudio.
And Gaudio will come back down and go to the line now. Matt Gaudio. 10 points, 5 rebounds.
As the game winds down, Bill, as you saw in the last possession, look for Penn State to try to get it in Matt Gaudio's hands, much like you would expect Michigan State to get it in Quinton Brooks' hands.
That's Anthony Mull, who just checked into the game. Gaudio cans it. And he can make the lead 7. Misses the second one, so he is 2 out of 4 from the foul line tonight.
That's unusual for Matt. He's a real good foul shooter.
Oh, looking inside, couldn't find anybody though, so he got it to Garavaglia. Seconds on the shot clock again. They get it to Quinton Brooks. Mull. Down to 3 on the clock. Brooks forced it up and wedges in there. So that'll be equivalent to a jump ball. Possession arrow goes in Penn State's favor.
One of those nights for Tom Izzo.
Yeah.
But they're still in the hunt.
Only 6 points down with 5.5 minutes left. Penn State has not been able to finish them off. They were up by 8 at halftime. Now the lead stayed there most of the second half now. McKnight way over to Sekunda. McKnight will take the 3. Bad miss. Phil Williams with the offensive board though. Gaudio inside. High archer, no good again, and Garavaglia with a tough rebound. Called by Michigan State. Michigan State calls time. Tom Izzo will talk it over with them. Still a 6-point game. And each team goes into their respective huddles now to see what is going on. Penn State has had opportunities to blow this game wide open several times. Bruce just has not been able to do it.
Yeah, they sure have, Bill. And as I said earlier, about the 9-minute mark, you start to get concerned if you're Penn State when you haven't been able to break it open as poorly as Michigan State has shot the ball and as many opportunities as Michigan State has given you by missing easy shots and by turning the ball over to break it open.
Penn State has not been able to get the normal amount of 3-point shots that they would get in a game, and before the game we talked about that. Michigan State has done a pretty good job again, Bruce, of cutting off that open outside shot.
Yes, they have, Bill, absolutely.
Feick will take it. That's a 2, but he gets air. A lot of bad misses in the last minute or so.
That was a wide open look. Both teams playing a matchup zone. And right now, Glenn Sekunda is the primary perimeter threat for Penn State. So if I was Michigan State, I'd be packed in a little bit, except when he has the ball.
Donovan Williams gets it to Gaudio. He will take the 3 off the iron, and Feick rips down the rebound. Here come the Spartans. Garavaglia working on the baseline. Has it taken away. Penn State has a 3-on-2. McKnight will go to the hoop. Scramble for the ball, and let's see. Oh, Michigan State comes out with it. Quinton Brooks with a nice save. Mull. Yes, and a foul.
That's a heck of a finish.
Whoa.
Real good hustle at the defensive end. Got a good run out and finished at the other end. Made a tough shot.
First points of the game for Anthony Mull. Let's watch that whole series here, Bruce.
Here's a missed opportunity by Penn State. Scramble for the ball. Michigan State comes up with it. Real good alert play by Brooks. They kick it out. And now it's just a great individual effort by Mull to finish. I tell you, when you finish with Phil Williams hanging on you, you should feel real good.
Anthony Mull's first points of the game come at a key time. He does not complete the 3-point play, though, and Phil Williams hauls down the rebound. It's a 4-point game, 50-46, Penn State up. 3.5 minutes remain.
Tried to go to Matt Gaudio that time. Michigan State defended his screen action really well.
Michigan State defenders coming way outside to pick up their men, and Sekunda just lost the ball out of bounds. Well, Michigan State will have a chance here to close to within 2 of the Nittany Lions, and we'll be back after this.
We are starting the Jimmy V Foundation for Cancer Research. We need your help. It may not save my life. It may save my children's lives. It may save someone you love. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
To help keep Jimmy V's dream alive, please call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V.
HMO you can lean on. It's taken Cal Ripken 13 grueling years to break Lou Gehrig's record that no one dreamed would ever be broken. Until now. In honor of this momentous event, Major League Baseball has officially endorsed this Cal Ripken Jr. Iron Man baseball, featuring a full-color picture, a facsimile of his signature on the sweet spot, and his career highlights with the Baltimore Orioles on the backside. This official baseball comes with its own numbered certificate of authenticity, protective lucite case, and decorative box. All this for only $19.95. Call now to honor baseball's Iron Man with this remarkable collector's item, the exclusive Cal Ripken Jr. record-breaking baseball.
Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-752-8080 or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $3.95 shipping and handling to Cal Ripken Baseball, P.O. Box 78, Grand Central Station, New York, New York. That number again is 1-800-752-8080.
Well, Penn State has a 4-point lead. They have led this entire game, but right now it's down to 4 because Penn State, Bruce, has not scored for almost 3 minutes now.
Well, Michigan State has done a really good job of just hanging around, Bill. And now they're in a position where they have a chance to win the game.
Each team with 3 full timeouts, and Penn State with a 22nd timeout as well. And Michigan State with a chance here to close to within 2. Jerry Dunn watching intently. Daimon Beathea way outside. Quinton Brooks is the guy they want to get it to. He is headed into the paint now. Ball inside to Jamie Feick.
Boy,
it is a 2-point game.
That was a terrific possession. Good patience, good execution.
Coming down on 2.5 minutes remaining in this one. Penn State leads by 2. Several points in the second half. It looked like the Nittany Lions are ready to blow it open. But Michigan State hung in there. Good defense, good inside play. And a key possession here for Penn State. Down to 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Going to Matt Gaudio if they can.
Sekunda had to force it up there, and it did not get any rim, so that'll be a shot clock violation.
Terrific defense. They were trying to go to Matt Gaudio on the block. Michigan State cut down all the passing angles. Really did a great job.
Well, Michigan State will have a chance to tie now. 50-48 is the score. And the Spartans have the ball. There's Ray Weathers. Brooks is trying to post up down low, but Feick will take it in. Yes, we have a tie game with 1:53 left.
That was a great individual effort by Jamie Feick. Put the ball on the floor and finished past Phil Williams.
Danny Earl with Ray Weathers on him. Gaudio works inside. He gets it to go, and Penn State is up by 2. 1.5 minutes left.
Now there's their go-to guy, Bill. That was a terrific individual effort.
Timeout, Michigan State.
Michigan State calls a timeout with 1:27 left in the game. And it's 52-50. Penn State leads Michigan State. Jamie Feick has been the guy for Michigan State who they have gone to in the last 2 possessions, and he has come through, while Matt Gaudio just got a key bucket for Penn State. Let's take a look at what Jamie Feick has been able to do here in the last couple of times down the floor, Bruce.
Well, Bill, Michigan State went to their high-low action and got it low. This time, Feick on the block. And he made a real nice drop-step power move and finished the play. Now here they go to their high-low action again. They're trying to go to Brooks. Matt Gaudio covers him, so Feick puts the ball on the floor and takes the second option and finishes off the dribble.
Now here's the other go-to guy.
Well, Penn State isolated Matt Gaudio that time, and he made a good dribble move, got a half a step on his defender, and finished off the glass.
Now Penn State had a 13-point lead at one point in this game. That was late in the first half. They ended up at halftime leading by 8, and right now they have a 2-point lead with 1.5 minutes left. And You said earlier in the game, Bruce, that Penn State would rather have a game where they score 75 points in a game like this, and there are only 2 losses this season came when they scored less than 70.
That's right, Bill. And Michigan State, to their credit, has done another really good job of taking away Penn State's jump shots. And Penn State did some good things, especially in the first half, to counter that by getting the ball down in the paint. But I think it has really disrupted Penn State's rhythm.
And those are the numbers we just gave you. And, of course, one of those losses 10 days ago out at East Lansing against this same Michigan State team. The Spartans now with a chance to tie it up again. 1 minute, 20 seconds remain.
Looks like Penn State's in a matchup zone. See if Michigan State can get the ball into the paint.
Weathers works baseline. Doesn't get it to go, and Gaudio with a rebound.
Well, that was a real good look. Couldn't get it to go down. He got basically a layup.
Timeout called by Penn State. So now Tom Izzo has a chance to go over with his troops what he wants to do, and Penn State will go to the sideline. Here's Weathers' last drive to the baseline.
I think Tom felt he got fouled. I don't think so. I think that was a good, clean play. He was off balance. Instead of going to the basket, he faded back. I think Bill had position. That was a good no call. Good job by the officials.
So when we come out of this timeout, Jerry Dunn breaks the huddle on the Penn State side. 58 seconds remain. Penn State has 3 full timeouts left. Michigan State 2. And Penn State will have a chance to make it a 4-point lead here.
Penn State takes a timeout.
One guy for Penn State also, Bruce, that has been, again, negated in this game. Calvin Booth spent a lot of time on the bench and really not a presence in the game.
You know, and it was the same thing up at East Lansing, Bill. I think Michigan State is tough for Calvin to match up to. If he's playing Brooks, Brooks is real mobile and can put the ball on the floor. And if he's playing Feick, Feick is real physical and strong, and Calvin has a tough time matching up with him. So it's a situation where he just has a hard time physically against Michigan State.
Jeremy Metzger has played a lot at center. There you see Jeremy in the Penn State huddle. Just under 15,000 fans here at the Bryce Jordan Center for this one. And every remaining home game for Penn State a sellout, Bruce. Amazing.
Yeah, it's great, Bill. All the games here at the Bryce Jordan Center and all the games that Brett Hall in the Big Ten have been sellouts, and that's really great. I think Penn State has great fans, and they're really showing their appreciation for the program and for these guys.
A lot of strategy going on in these huddles now. See what Penn State can do here to free up somebody. And what Michigan State will do to try to put the clamps on. There's Tom Izzo, who has designed this defensive scheme.
Traditionally at this time, Penn State has taken time off the clock and then tried to isolate Matt Gaudio inside. But that was covered last time they tried to do it. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with now. Michigan State's trying to keep the ball out of Dan Earl's hands, which is a really good move.
Gaudio got it to him only by smacking into Ray Weathers to keep him out of the way. Weathers slaps the floor and says, come on, let's go. Danny Earl lost his footing. He traveled. Oh.
That's a tough break for the Nittany Lions. They were trying to run a block-to-block screen that time to get Matt or Calvin Booth the ball.
Let's watch that one again. It was just a case of Danny Earl losing his feet.
Danny's trying to penetrate. Matt's going to set a screen for Calvin Booth, try to free either Calvin or Matt up on a seal back, and Danny just loses the handle.
The Spartans with the ball, down 2, 37 seconds left, and Tom Izzo wants a timeout right away. Took a while for Thomas Kelley to see that, but he called the timeout, and we're down to 33 seconds now. And Michigan State with a ball and a chance to tie.
You know, Bill, one of the tough things for Michigan State is having an inexperienced backcourt. They lost so much last year. You know, they had 2 great guards last year. They were experienced. They could penetrate. They could score. Now they have a totally new backcourt. And in close games, your backcourt is really your key. The backcourt controls the ball. They control the tempo. More often than not, they end up with shots if the defense keeps you from running what you want to run. The backcourt players usually end up taking the shots and having to create something. So that's really a tough situation for Tom Izzo's club. On the other hand, Penn State has a very veteran backcourt, very experienced. Danny Earl's a junior. He's been through the wars a couple of years. Pete Lisicky got great experience last year. So they have guys who can convert more often than not in late game situations.
If you are Tom Izzo here, Bruce, do you work down for the use as much time off of the clock as you can and go for the time bucket near the buzzer here, or do you try to score quick?
You know, I would take the first good opportunity by who you want to take it and not worry much about the clock. If it runs down, fine. But a lot of people think a good strategy on the road is to hold it and give yourselves a chance to win by holding and taking the last shot.
For Penn State, it's Danny Earl, Donovan Williams, Phil Williams, Glenn Sekunda, Matt Gaudio.
Penn State's in the zone.
Garavaglia over to Brooks. Weathers takes the step in. It's Long's air.
He didn't want to shoot that ball. You could tell he didn't want to shoot it.
And a foul as Penn State tried to control Jamie Feick, rolled over Glenn Sekunda.
You know, Weathers was open. You'll see here, Michigan State runs a screen for Weathers on the baseline. He's wide open. He doesn't want to take the three. And as a result, is real uncomfortable. I'm surprised they didn't try to go to Brooks in that possession.
Yeah. You could tell that. Ray Weathers took the step in, was wide open, did not want it.
No. None of their players have looked comfortable shooting the jump shot all night, and I'm real surprised that they didn't try to get it in Brooks' hands. You know, he's their veteran. If they have to take a jumper, I think he's comfortable taking it, but he certainly can go to the rack off the dribble if he doesn't get a jump shot.
Glenn Sekunda is on the line, a 76% free throw shooter, a hit. 12th point of the game for Sekunda. Jerry Dunn is not breathing yet.
Now with the three-point shot and the clock stopping after a basket the last minute, it isn't over till it's over.
Sekunda lines up number 2, big bucket. And a timeout is called by Penn State. Nittany Lions are up by 4, 54-50, with 16 seconds remaining in this one. We'll be back after this local timeout.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school with Dynamic Practice Organization, a revolutionary new instructional videotape. Dynamic Practice Organization features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky with his famous building block approach to athletic training. This exciting instructional videotape features the same drills, techniques, and methods that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Dynamic Practice Organization makes any coach look like a genius and organizes offensive and defensive practices that players of all ages and ability levels can't wait to attend. And immensely improves team communication skills and even conditioning. This is the instructional video that's a winner. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-282-5020. The Dynamic Practice Organization teaching video makes a great gift, too. Call now, 1-800-282-5020.
There are your numbers. Penn State with a 4-point lead with 16 seconds left. Michigan State wanted to keep the score down low. They accomplished that. But Penn State up by 4 as we speak. And Michigan State will inbound the ball right away. They may call an immediate timeout. And Penn State going to apply some pressure here. Michigan State had trouble against the press in the first meeting at East Lansing. And Penn State going to put it on here. Weathers going to try to run it up past half court. He falls down, gets it off to Mull. And a foul on Danny Earl. 10 seconds left.
Foul is on number 10.
Well, they used up a lot of time there to get that ball down. 6 seconds to get the ball down
just into rain.
That's a real good foul that time. Make them take it out. Now Penn State's going to switch on all screening action to make it very difficult for Michigan State to get a three-point look.
Izzo and his assistant coach is trying to direct traffic from the sideline now. Garavaglia gets it to Weathers. Sekunda is on him. Weathers inside. It's taken away, and it goes out of bounds. Did it go out? No. Weathers with a shot. It went out of bounds, though. That bucket is no good. Sekunda will bring the ball in. I think they caught Michigan State off guard there, and Gaudio will just fire it toward the bucket at the buzzer. Michigan State was not aware that that ball was going to be inbounded. Tom Izzo, Bruce, wanted to call a timeout there, and I think his players were caught off guard when they brought that ball in so quick.
They sure were. Well, I'm not sure what they thought, but yeah, it would have been tough for them to do anything anyway, but they were out of sync really all evening. They just didn't look comfortable all night.
Well, the final score, 54-50, but hang on here. We're going to be back and talk to some of the principals involved in this game in just a moment. Back after this.
It's taken Cal Ripken 13 grueling years to break Lou Gehrig's record that no one dreamed would ever be broken. Until now. In honor of this momentous event, Major League Baseball has officially endorsed this Cal Ripken Jr. Iron Man baseball, featuring a full-color picture, a facsimile of his signature on the sweet spot, and his career highlights with the Baltimore Orioles on the backside. This official baseball comes with its own numbered certificate of authenticity, protective lucite case, and decorative box. All this for only $19.95. Call now to honor baseball's Iron Man with this remarkable collector's item, the exclusive Cal Ripken Jr. record-breaking baseball.
Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-752-8080 or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $3.95 shipping and handling to Cal Ripken Baseball, P.O. Box 78, Grand Central Station, New York, New York. That number again is 1-800-752-8080.
It was a hard-fought win. Were you concerned at halftime?
We are back at the Bryce Jordan Center. Bill Zimfer along with Tim Stout from our colleagues over at Michigan State. And Tim, Penn State had a chance to blow this game open a couple of times in the second half, but Michigan State hung in there and really made a game of it. Well, they've been two good defensive teams all season, Bill. They were number 1 and 2 coming in. It was one of those games where possessions were key, and the one down here at the end where Ray Weathers missed it. Penn State got it. They've made those free throws all year long against the other teams, and it's another close win and a big win for Penn State, certainly. Right at the end of the game there, did you get the feeling that Michigan State was kind of caught off guard by how quickly the referee handed the ball and it was inbounded? Tom Izzo wanted a timeout. The players didn't seem to be ready there. Well, there were a lot of crazy calls in a game like this where you have a lot of defense played and a lot of tentative offense as this game had. I mean, Michigan State did well, of course, to get back in the game, but just didn't quite have enough offensively to put it over the top. All right, thank you, Tim. Bruce Parkhill standing by now with Matt Gaudio and Jerry Dunn. Let's go to Bruce.
Matt, we lost a tough one up at Michigan State, and it was a hard-fought game. They came out on top. What did you feel you guys had to do differently tonight?
I think we had to move the ball a lot more. I think up there we kind of got stagnated. We got the ball inside pretty good up there, but, our perimeter shooters, really couldn't get any good looks. And I think in the first half, we did a pretty good job of that. We were moving the ball well. In the second half, I think they went back to what they were doing, and we went back to what we were doing, and kind of got a little bit stagnated there. But, I mean, luckily, we came out on top.
Well, we thought in the lead-in that if you guys were more patient and moved the ball and got it inside, that you might be one of the main beneficiaries. Were you licking your chops tonight?
Yeah, definitely in the first half. I don't know if they messed up on their assignments a couple of times, but there were some guys that weren't on me. And in the second half, they were doubling down a little bit more, which and I think the other guys stepped up. But there was some couple entry passes that Pete and Danny threw, pretty nice passes that got me open.
Okay, Matt. Well, that was a terrific win for you. I know that was a hard-fought game, and you pulled it out, buddy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Coach, buddy, way to go. That's a tough one, but a good one, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely a good one, Bruce. I thought we played pretty good the first half and couldn't put them away. They hit a big shot against the zone, a three-point banker that really, I thought, got their confidence back. And instead of going in the locker room with a 14-point lead, we go in with, I think, a 7 or 8-point lead. So I told the guys, these guys are not going to be easy to put away.
Yeah, I thought at the 9-minute mark of the second half that you had to be concerned because Michigan State was missing some opportunities and turning the ball over, and yet you really didn't have the kind of lead that I'm sure you were comfortable with, and you probably thought it was going to be a nail-biter about the 9-minute mark.
Yeah, it did. Brooks is an awful good player, and you know, we couldn't stop him, and I just tried to mix the defenses up a little bit, and we came down on the other end, and we were out of sync, and we had some scoring opportunities, but we couldn't convert, so I was a little concerned.
Right. Well, that's a great win, Jarrett. Congratulations on number 18.
Thank you very much.
Back to the guys.
All right, thank you very much, Bruce. And Penn State pulls out a 4-point victory, 54-50 over Michigan State. We'll be back with a final.
Actually,